This is the homework helper for Chapter 9, Section 9 in the 8th grade workbook, Scatter Plots. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here in question number 1. That's the one I'm going to do with you. There's only 2 questions, so I can only do one with you here. We're making a scatter plot of the buildings and comparing their stories and their heights in meters. Now, obviously, when we make a scatter plot, we're only looking at sets of values. So the names of the buildings, the cities the buildings are in, that is not something we're going to graph. What we're going to graph here is this stories column and this height column. So let's come down here to our graph and go ahead and get that set up here. Taking a look at our number of stories, we have everything that's from the 50s all the way up to the high 100s here. Based on the way this is graph set up already for me with the line break here, I'm going to go ahead and start at 50 and go up by tens, and hopefully we've got enough space there. 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and the right side will be 120. So yes, we do have enough space there. And my heights here range everything from in the 200s to all the way up above 400, almost in the 400 to 500 range, not almost. So I'm going to go ahead and set my graph up. There is no line break here, but I'm going to go ahead. Actually, this is set up fine. We're going to put 0 on the bottom line and go up by hundreds based on their lines. And that will give me everything I need. Remember now, we're not graphing this stuff over here. Alright, it's great that that's informational, but we're only graphing these two guys right here. So, first building here, 110 stories tall, so over to 110, 442 meters tall. Well, we know halfway between 400 and 500 would be 450, so go a little less than that point. Put a dot. 102 stories is 381 meters tall. So I'm going to go over to about where 102 would be, just past 100, and up to 381. If you go just up to 400 and drop down a little bit, you'll find it. 55 stories, 312 meters tall. So I'm going to go over to 55, halfway between 50 and 60, and up to 312, just over the 300 mark, and put my dot there. 75 stories, 310 meters tall, so over to 75, halfway between 70 and 80, up to 310, just about on the same place as we put that last dot in terms of the y-axis. 57 stories tall, 290 meters tall, so over to 57, we've already been at 55, so we're going to go just to the right of that mark, and up to 290, so just beneath the 300 line. 76 stories tall, 287 meters tall, so over to 76. We were already at 75 here, so just to the right of that. And it's going to go to 287, so just beneath the 300 line. 72 stories tall, 281 meters tall, so we're going to go over to 72 here, just to the right of 70, and up to 281, not far off from the dot we just placed at all. And at 60 stories tall, the building in Charlotte puts me at 265 meters tall, over to 60, up to 265, just past the halfway mark between 200 and 300, and there's my dots. So now here they want us to describe the correlation here. Remember, when we're talking about the correlation, what we're doing is we're drawing the line that would go through as many data pairs as we could and leave as many data points on either side of the line as well. So if we were talking about drawing the line of best fit here, what we would probably do is a line that probably going to go something kind of like that, or darn near it anyway. Now, even though that's not perhaps the most precise line in the world, what is important is it helps me describe the correlation, because as we're going from left to right, the numbers do tend to go up in both categories. Makes sense. Taller building in terms of the number of stories, taller building in terms of the number of meters. So since both those happen to be moving in the same direction, they're both going up at the same time, here we have a positive correlation, which is what they're looking for the blank, because both numbers are going up at the same time, or if you look at the small end, both numbers are going down at the same time. But you have the same movement in the same direction at the same time. That's a positive correlation. As you heard in the lesson today, it's a negative correlation if the numbers are going in an opposite direction. If one number were to be getting bigger and the other number were to be getting smaller, coming down, then you have a negative correlation.